shocker, Stafford Motor Speedway, Stafford Springs, Connecticut, leaves NASCAR after 60 years when we come back.
Inravio.com.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome.
Stafford Motor Speedway is leaving NASCAR, the weekly racing series, after 60 years, starting with the dad, Jack Arute Sr. Effective immediately. The start of the 2021 season, all the NASCAR banners, signs, anything that says NASCAR will no longer be on the property.
That's a long time, right?
60 years. That's like 3 generations, really.
That's older than me, but that's a long time.
So the track will run independently. However, the Wayland Modified Tour events, which had been scheduled, will go on with what they call a single event sanctioning. This decision is due in part to a conflict regarding ownership rights of streaming and broadcasting rights of the weekly racing events. CEO Mark Arute stated, in the former deal that we had, NASCAR owned the rights to any broadcast that we had for our races in the New England Sportnet, and they had the rights to any revenues that Stafford made from the broadcast. And anything produced by Stafford Speedway Productions with the success of Stafford, which includes the Stafford Speedway TV, NASCAR got a piece of that, and Mark Arute said, and I quote, "We no longer see this as a partnership. They want to continue the way it is, and we're not doing it that way." Previously, the race teams received 25% of the revenue from the pay-per-view, and Stafford also advised it seems they will, at minimum, match the NASCAR track point fund and the state point funds as well. And the money that they are saving from not having to pay NASCAR will go back to the race teams. Amazing. NASCAR is getting greedy and has been for quite some time. When NASCAR first started signing up the weekly racing series way back in the 80s, they promised the tracks all kinds of good things, the teams all kinds of good things, and they did that.
That was a long time ago.
A long time ago. And you'd be foolish to not be a part of that. The red and white paint, that everything was painted, the paint was shipped to them by truck, paint everything.
Special NASCAR paint?
Special NASCAR paint, it had to go.
Because you couldn't buy the red and white paint down at the hardware store.
Exactly, yeah. The point fund, I know when I was racing back in the late 70s and 80s and 90s, you look forward to that little point fund check in the winter time. I wasn't one of the top runners. I wasn't even a mid-pack guy, but that couple of $100 that you got from NASCAR for showing up every week and getting points was pretty good. So
yeah, it was definitely something interesting, absolutely, and it's everybody's looking at the numbers right now. I mean, I got to tell you, everybody's looking at the numbers.
Yeah,
right down to the dollars and cents. They're starting at the big numbers and they're working their way down. And they're deciding that, maybe these big numbers, we need to look at them.
Right.
Because what are you going to do with that?
Right. Yeah.
You got to do something. I mean, everybody. It's with everything that's going on, things are getting a little more crunched because they probably didn't make as much as they did because of COVID and everything else that's going on. They got to look at the big picture. And the big picture is, do we continue to move ahead the way we have been, all of these 60 years, or what do we do? You know, you got to make that choice. You know, you got to make that decision.
Exactly. And you know, like even like Tony Stewart, owner of Eldora Speedway, where they hold the Gander Outdoor Truck Race at, you know, they pulled that race from him. And we're going to talk about a racing series that Tony Stewart has started along with Ray Abraham. And you know, you look at some of these things and these changes with NASCAR. One of the things that I'm going to say, and this is just my opinion, is you no longer have racers running NASCAR. You have bean counters. You have guys with master's degrees in marketing, master's degrees in sales, and all these other kind of things. They never raced a car. They never worked on a car. They don't know what it takes to be a business of racing. They don't even go to the races. Brian France, when he was the CEO, he didn't even go to the races.
Oh, that's that way in a lot of places in the world. I mean, it's in every business. It's what it is, you know. And I don't understand it myself. I really don't. And you know, we just talked. I mean, I just had an opportunity that, you know, after 40 years, now all of a sudden he decides that now's a good time to get me involved in this opportunity.
Right.
I'm at the end of my career. I'm not, you know, looking to start to, you know, putting millions of dollars into an opportunity that could have been,
right,
you know, 10, 20 years ago, maybe.
Exactly.
Because he had bean counters involved in this.
Yep.
And you know what? I'm not going to fight bean count. I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm too smart for that.
Right.
I've been down this road. You know, not patting myself on the back. I learned the hard way. You know, I'm from the streets. I didn't go to school for this, but I learned the hard way how you do these things. And you know, I've learned by trial and error. I mean, was it good? Probably not the smartest way to go, but you know what? I've had a lot of smart people who've been educated tell me this is what you should do, and I've tried it, and it sucked.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, so I mean, the only way to go about it, and every business is different. You poke this way, you poke that way, you try this, you try that, and you see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, that's the way you're going to get the results, you know? And I've gotten results. Right. I mean, in the end, I've gotten the results that I needed. But I mean, it's that way with everything. I mean, in the business I'm in music business, I had one of our guitar reps come in, and I said, "Boy, this guitar plays like hell, boy. I tell you, you know, try this guitar." "Oh, I don't know how to play." That was not the case. I mean, I've been in this business long enough that I remember looking in my security camera on a Saturday and going, "What the hell is he doing here?" That's my sales rep from the guitar. You know, and I go out there and I'm like, "Eric, what are you doing here?" He goes, "I was just on my way out to play in the Hamptons with my band. I figured I'd pop in, see if you needed anything." That's not the case anymore.
No.
Now the rep who reps us for the guitars, he used to sell Jiffy peanut butter to the supermarkets. You know, and everybody comes in clamoring, "I got to have that guitar. I got to have this guitar company is the best." And I won't even tell you what he said. He said, "I could put my name on a pile of dog crap and people will buy it." That's what he said. Yeah. You really want to buy a guitar from somebody who says this about his product.
His product, I know.
You know, I don't understand it. It boggles my mind sometimes. Yeah. You know, and the true companies, you know, the company we deal with the most, this guy, he was here. He was in our studio. And he was blown away because he came in with one of the top guitarists in the world, and we did a videotape here. We streamed it, the whole thing, and clinic. He was blown away. He's like, "There is no dealer in the United States that has this kind of a setup." Absolutely not. They were so blown away. They walked out of here. They were talking amongst themselves, the two of them, going for dinner. He's like, "This is unbelievable. It's unbelievable." Yeah. He was beside himself on how awesome this was. And this was the CEO of the company. He heard about the studio and he had to come to check it out. Yeah. You know, but you don't get, and he was a player. You know, he played with Yngwie Malmsteen. He played with Michael Schenker. I mean, this was the CEO of the company. Mm-hmm. It's not that way anymore. No. You know, and that's the way these people are. No. And you know, especially with, I can appreciate that. Really, unless you've got NASCAR bringing something to the table, and there's a return on investment, why would you pay that kind of money if you're not getting it back?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
And you think about the thousands and thousands of weekly tracks that are in North America, which includes Canada, Mexico, NASCAR, you know, in Europe, and you think of, I'm talking thousands and thousands of racetracks, and each one of those tracks every Monday morning fills out a check, puts it in, overnights it, down to their headquarters. For what?
You know, don't get me wrong. I'll tell you this. When I set up my stuff for the race car, okay, my advertising stuff for the race car, I put NASCAR in there.
Mm-hmm.
Capital letters, NASCAR. Okay, even when I set it up, I'm going to put the logo, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Now, are they coming after me? Probably not. Really, should you put it in there? No, you probably shouldn't. But I'll tell you, any racer that's watching us right now, they're setting up their package, their electrical package to send out to people, your EPK. You're going to have it in there because it looks cool, doesn't it?
You're a NASCAR race car driver.
I'm a NASCAR race car driver.
Yeah.
So it looks good, doesn't it? Well, you don't understand that behind that NASCAR that you're putting in your package, okay, in your press kit, it costs money to get that thing so that you can put it in your press kit.
That's right.
So the question really exists, are people not going to go to Stafford now because they can't put NASCAR in their press kit? I don't think many race car drivers are going to pick it up. They may not like the fact that, they can't put it in their press kit anymore. But ultimately, these are the things that make your press kit shine and stand out to a potential advertiser or a sponsor. Not to bring it up, but like we talked about with the free interviews, we don't have a lot more of those left here.
Right.
And you put that in your electric press kit. I'll tell you right now that if you have an electric press kit that you send out to somebody and it's all done up and you spent the $99 to get it done, I can even tell you who will do it for you. They put your name in a press kit, they got all set up and whatnot, you stick your name in it. And it's like 25 pages. Awesome. All kinds of pictures, all kinds of info about the team and your hauler and your people and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you send a video along with that press kit, and there's 2 attachments on that email on the bottom. And let's say the video is the second attachment. Your attachment is your press kit, right? Your whole bio, the whole thing. And then the second one's the video of you being on this show, being interviewed on a show. I guarantee you that sponsor is not going to click on that thing to read. He's going to click on that video first. Yep. And that video of you being on this show with the glitz and glam that you have here and the splash that you have is going to either sell or not sell that sponsorship package. Yeah. They're not going to go to that other part that you spent $99 for. No. Not going to go there. Nobody wants to read. Come on Facebook, who reads? No. You go to the videos first, you go to the pictures second, and you don't read.
And why? If it's a long thing, I'm not reading it at all.
If it's a long thing, if it's more than a sentence, you're not reading it. So here's the point. That's my point.
Yeah.
To your point, that's exactly what I'm saying. So, clamor right now. Message us because we only have like 3 left. So, I mean, if you guys want to get an interview on this show free, I'm not charging you nothing. It's a 10-minute interview. Yep. We're going to give you, the high-res video and stuff to put in your press kit. That's the smartest thing to do. We're doing that because we're race car drivers who are trying to help race car drivers and give you guys a hand up. And that's why we're here every week.
Because we know what it was like.
Oh, I know exactly what it was like. And that's one of those things that I did trial and error until I found exactly what worked. Yeah. And and anybody who's watching us who knows me knows that when I came to the track, I had my car covered until I went into the track because everybody was going to be pissed off on what advertiser, what sponsor I had this year on my car. I had all the top radio stations, and everybody was like, I tried for years to get them. I had them.
Yeah. It's like when I showed up at the Big Brothers Big Sisters thing for 5 years in a row. They used to be a big track supporter. And the track accused me of taking their sponsor away.
That's a good one.
And I said, I didn't take the sponsor away. One of your people made a comment that upset them. And
they left.
They left. They didn't call you and say, hey, we didn't like that your PR guy said X, Y, Z, Z, Z. We just left. Mm-hmm. And we gave the deal to somebody who's going to market us. And there was some nights that my daughter trashed the car up and I'm in the shop till 2 in the morning putting new body panels on that were already lettered and stickered and vinyled.
Ready to go.
Ready to go because we had an appearance Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. And we never missed an appearance. And my kid was, anything Big Brothers asked her to do, she did. We got Big Brothers into her high school because she was a 10th grader. Whatever. That was their return. They created awareness. But,
And that's very true. And you know, the local tracks should be helping you with this stuff. And that's granted. That's why they have the NASCAR, you know, sponsorship.
Right.
Because it's supposed to help everybody.
Everybody.
You know, but the question is, really does it? And you know, even when I called my local track back in the day, because I wanted to get free passes to give to my sponsors, and I mentioned some names, and he's like, who did you talk to over there? Because it turned out that they were also sponsoring a race at my local racetrack.
Right.
They didn't like the idea that I was talking. Their sponsors called me.
Yeah.
Because of the radio stations and everybody else I had, I was the heavy hitter.
Exactly.
And they were like, well, if you're going to sponsor a race car, he's the guy to sponsor. So they would call me. And to your point, I remember giving my crew chief my backup car, which was also a show car, to take out on the track, and he stuffed that thing head on into the wall.
Fence.
Head on into that wall, boy. Just like you did, but he didn't have to be airlifted.
Yeah.
But I remember we spent the night, and I had there was no radiator in the car, there was no water in the motor, and the whole night was putting the nose back on his car with half by half tubing, just holding it up.
Just holding it up.
Just making it look good, just holding it up. Just, you know, a couple pieces here, a couple pieces there. Start the motor, coast it to wherever we had to go, park it, take the pictures, start the motor, coast it back up onto the trailer, and out we were.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do.
Right.
But that's why we had the big sponsors.
Yeah, and you know, and Mark Garut and his wife Lisa, they've been in this business. Mark Garut was picking up papers under the bleachers when he was a kid for his dad, so he knows the business of racing. They're involved, and
It's a family business.
it's a family business,
Family business.
and the racing part is not the only thing. They're into other things, like, you know, their videos and their broadcasts and catering and a whole assortment of other things. So,
But that's just a piece of the puzzle.
exactly, and they sat there and they said, listen, why are we paying out all this money to NASCAR when we could put some in our own pocket and still take care of our race teams who support us week after week, year after year? So I applaud them for this. I really do.
Well, they tell you the race team thing because that makes it viable, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we're going to put some into the driver's pocket. Makes the drivers feel good. But ultimately, they're already putting money into the driver's pocket.
Well, they are, but what they did do, and they posted it on their website, is what dollar amount minimum
Really?
the top 20 in each division is going to get
Going to get after this NASCAR.
without NASCAR.
Without NASCAR.
Minimum.
That's pretty interesting.
And you know what? I'll tell you what. You know, if I'm a competitor at Stafford Motor Speedway, I'm going to sit back and say, wait, if I finish this in points, I'm going to get whatever it is, $1,000? I didn't get that from NASCAR.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, you're going to lose that, hey, I'm a NASCAR race driver. But Stafford Motor Speedway in the Northeast is like the Daytona of the Northeast. Everybody knows about Stafford Motor Speedway. Everybody knows that the Root family runs that place like a clock. And they're fair to the competitors. The officials are fair to the competitors. You don't have these egotistical officials that walk around screaming in your face. It's all
You know,
nice.
that's something I can't get used to because, you know, and again, we had a drivers meeting and what happened? They were complaining because there was a part in the car that they wanted out of that car. And everybody, I mean, all the guys that I knew that had this part, what are we talking about? I mean, I'll even say what it was. It was a monoball. I mean, what are we talking about? It wasn't, you know, everybody had monoballs. There was maybe 3 or 4 guys that didn't have monoballs. You know what? I'll give you a couple $100. Go out and buy monoballs for your car, put them in, okay? Right. But everybody's kicking the ground, looking at, by next week, I want all those monoballs out of the car. You know how many, the speed shop, you know how many steel bushings he would have had to come up with, and we'd have to, they were welded in. So you got to, it's a lot of work for everybody there.
Yeah.
You know? And I raised my hand and I go, boop. I go, what are we talking about? How many guys here don't have monoballs? Nobody wanted to raise their hand, right?
Of course.
You know, so he's like, listen to me. He goes, I'm just trying to put on a show. So, of course, I coined the phrase, I am the show. Who are you talking to?
Exactly. I know.
And that's very true.
Yep.
You know, it's a perspective. You know, and the tracks that have the perspective that you are the show, you're spending your money, your time, your effort to come in there and put together a show.
Right.
They're the ones that you can work with. That's a partnership.
Yeah.
Somebody who thinks they're doing you a favor by opening the door every Saturday night so you can come run your car,
Yeah.
that's not a partner.
The clowns at the circus don't pay to perform.
Yeah, you know, and that's ultimately, you know, hey, there's no doubt about it. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. We're paying to play with our race cars
In their sandbox.
in their sandbox. So the reason why there's a purse is because you go and you spend money at the pit gate along with your team, and that money gets tossed into a bucket. And they run the money around like this. They pull out the first winner, they pull out the second guy, the third guy, and you get your money, and then they get whatever the balance is to pay for their track crew and their insurance and everything else based on everything else that's there. That's really what it boils down to.
Right.
Really what it boils down to. So ultimately, you're paying to play with your race car. And if
Exactly.
you get somebody who wants to help you because you can put their name on the side of the car, then more power to you.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, we have to look at it in our perspective too.
Absolutely.
I know race car drivers think that, you know, they're just, you know, you got to look at it in the right perspective.
Exactly.
Once you do that, then you can excel in this sport.
Anyway, we got to take a break, and we come back. We're going to continue discussion because one of our viewers, John Keene, brought up an interesting statement that we're going to discuss when we come back.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, what's
Set It
oh,
Up.
I was gonna say what's up for some reason. Hey, we're Set It Up, and you're watching the Inravio TV network.
You keep your car tuned up and well maintained, right? Why? Because preparation and maintenance keeps your investment running perfectly. But are you doing the same for your largest investment, your home? Right now, homeowners can take advantage of a free home energy assessment sponsored by PSEG Long Island. Our experts will check your home for energy waste and help you get utility and state rebates and incentives, making your home healthier, more valuable, and more efficient, saving you money. This limited time offer won't last, so get to greenteamny.com/5off5on and sign up for your free home energy assessment now.
Hi there, this is Buddy from Less Than Jake, and you are listening to Inravio TV. You're probably watching it too.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Hey, that green team, don't forget about contacting those guys. The link is in the chat there. If you don't want to save any money, don't bother calling them. But, you know, they can save you anywhere from $1,000, $2,000 for the year. It's a handful of tires, right?
It is.
And it's a quick and easy thing. They can do it virtual, but just give them a call. Just, you know, hit that link there. Just follow it through, and you're going to get some money out of the deal. I got a whole box of free LED bulbs that came to that.
Nice.
As a thing. Because it's through PSE&G, so they give you the bulbs for free, and then, you know, your house is certified.
There you go.
So whether you're selling it or not, it's certified, you know, to this level of green.
See, in my complex, if a bulb goes out, you got to call a maintenance number, and they come and replace it.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't go to to the hardware store and I need this bulb and put it in.
Then you get the box of bulbs, and then you sell them to somebody's got a house.
Hey, anyway, hey, you know, it's funny. You know, not that it's funny, but we were talking about the Stafford leaving NASCAR thing, and one of our viewers, John Keene, he said that, you know, because Jack Arute Jr., the brother of Mark Arute, is an announcer, Sirius XM NASCAR,
Right.
he'll probably lose his job because your family ain't supporting us. And he also
Can
is.
they really do that? They got to do it for some other reason, right? One of
Well,
those
you know, it
things.
depends on what state that they're registered in, but like, you know, certain states is a employment at will. You don't need a reason. I don't like your socks.
I don't like your socks.
But he's also broadcast on some of the, I don't want to say lesser series, but, you know, the Xfinity, the truck series. and even some of the other things that NASCAR is puts on TV, he's as a commentator.
Right.
They probably find a reason to let him go.
Or not give
It's a
enough,
shame.
or not give him enough work.
Exactly. And that's not
just,
the right
that's
thing.
just wrong.
And
But that's honestly, I wouldn't doubt that was probably kept the track where it was for so many years because of that.
Yeah.
Because they were concerned about that.
Yeah.
But at some point, there's that breakover point where you don't have a choice. I mean,
No.
what do you do with that?
no, it's
If it's a business decision and it's a smart decision to make, you make that decision.
exactly. You got to do what's right for your business.
You got to.
And sometimes the popular people aren't going to agree with your decision, but they're not paying your bills.
Yeah, well, this is all different now. I mean, the rules have changed. This whole COVID thing, this whole year, I'm not even going to talk about it, but
Right.
the whole year has been so different for everybody
Yeah.
that it set everybody on their heels.
It
you know what I
has.
mean? What do you do?
It has, and a lot of people bash NASCAR. Okay, and that's their right to bash, but have a solid reason. Just don't go into the website or social media and spew out NASCAR sucks. And I know somebody said that. I'm not this, Brian. This is not directed at you, but I've always said this. And I got to tell you, when I had that wreck 24 years ago, I was, I had one foot in the grave and the other one on a banana peel. They told me I wasn't going to live, and if I lived, I would never walk again.
Yeah, you were in bad shape.
And NASCAR, I used my insurance first. Whatever was left, the other $300,000 or $400,000 that my insurance wouldn't cover, NASCAR just wrote a check. I got a bill once from Stony Brook Hospital here in SUNY Stony Brook in New York for $20,000. So I submitted it. My insurance company says, no, we can't pay that. We need it. What's it for?
We're maxed out.
We need an itemized bill. So I send a letter to the hospital billing people. No, the governor, and I don't remember who was at the time, says as a cost-saving effort, we are not doing itemized bills anymore. This is the bill, pay it, we're going to take you to court. So I said, well, let me see what NASCAR says. I called them up. They said, send me the bill. Within 10 days, the hospital had a check for $10,000 from NASCAR. So I can't badmouth NASCAR.
No, I
They
mean,
were good to
really,
me.
honestly, yeah, and again, hey, we're all family here, okay?
Yeah.
We're all racers, and whether you like NASCAR or not, it doesn't really matter. Everybody's going to have their own opinion, and that's everybody's entitled to that. But there's a lot of good that NASCAR does.
Absolutely.
And you know what? When that race comes on, that Daytona 500 thing that they call,
The Great American
the
Race.
Great American Race, you're going to watch that. I mean, and why wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
mean, it's what we do. We're racers. That's what we do. And you know what? If it didn't make sense for Stafford, it doesn't mean that NASCAR is doing the wrong thing. It just means it's not a good fit for Stafford.
Right.
And I don't want to say that to sound, businessy,
Right.
but it's true.
It is.
And maybe NASCAR's not happy about it. I can appreciate that because they don't want people jumping ship.
Right.
But at the same token, if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And NASCAR does a lot of good things. The things that they do, of course, we bash a lot of it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on purpose sometimes because we really don't know all the things that they do. They do a lot of great stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like we're sitting here. We're armchair quarterbacks. How many people they got down there at the Research and Development Center that are working on stuff? And what the hell are they doing that for? Yeah. I would just, go down to the auto parts store over there and pick up a widget. We don't know.
No.
Sometimes we're talking out our butt. Because these guys before they unveil something, they've spent a lot of time thinking
Right.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, when
know?
you think about it, the average license for NASCAR, the weekly series, is about $150. And I say the average because the features division pays a little bit more. So when you look at the average guy, and I believe at Stafford they have about 20 cars per division, times, and they bring their pit crews. So you figure 5 people per car on average.
Right.
That's a lot of people. That's 1,000 people that are in your pit
Oh,
area.
yeah. Well, when I was running, we had 43 cars.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were going home. But
Yeah.
out of 43 cars, you were still paying a VIG to come in. And then you had how many people? 4 or 5 people in your crew. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was a good chunk of change. But like you said, when you needed them because you got hurt, they were there to pay out the money.
Absolutely.
And as we all know, the insurance doesn't go down. And as we all know, the money that these hospitals are charging is getting more and more.
Yep.
I mean, so, if you've ever had surgery or looked at a bill, you're like, whoa. I mean, I think Bonnie spent a day and a half, not even a day and a half in the hospital. It was a day, and I think it was $20,000
Exactly.
for a couple of tests that they found
Couple of
nothing.
tests.
They found nothing.
Yeah. And I worked with Mark Arute when I was the race director on the modified tour, and then became safety director, and then just became just a tech guy. And Mark Arute was a businessman, and I can remember, and a story I probably told before, but I can remember it was a rainy couple of days. It was one of their midsummer races. There was no room in the schedule to reschedule. No room. And we kind of felt that we might have to pull the plug. So Ed Cox, who was the series director at the time, and myself, we got in Mark Arute's SUV, and we're just driving around the track because we were going to have this argument in private.
Sure, absolutely.
And we're
Best
driving around
place
the
to
track.
have it.
Oh yeah, nobody could hear. We could throw F-bombs around and all kinds of stuff. And Ed Cox says, "Mark, I'll be doggone if I put my race cars on this racetrack. It's not safe. It's wet." And I'm just sitting in the back seat because I don't know why, but I'm not talking. And you know me. I'm going to talk. I'm going to sit back and I'm going to let this play
Best way to go about it because you got no skin in the game.
Exactly. So here we go. We come around turn 2, and Mark Arute stands on the gas pedal. Stands on it. We go down the backstretch, and it's into 3. He goes, "The track's good enough on these tires. They're good enough for race tires. If you call the show, there'll never be another tour race at this track again." We pull back into the paddock area. We all get out. Oh, it's all cool. Okay, line them up. We're going. He's a businessman. He had invested dollars and sponsors paid money.
And people came.
People came.
You can't send them home now. What do you do with that?
No. Forget about the food that was, prepared for the event, which is now garbage because you can't hold it over the next week.
Right, it's all junk, yeah.
So we ran that race, and
There's a lot of parts and pieces, and
People don't know.
you're outside, and you're at the whim of the weather.
Exactly.
It's a hard sport to put
It
together.
is.
It really is. Kudos to anybody who's going to take that on. I just can't even imagine. It's hard enough holding an event when you're inside.
Right.
Think about any wedding you've ever been to or you had, right? That's a big event, right?
I had a couple
For you,
of
that's pretty awesome. And it takes a couple of months to put that together. You don't do that in 15, 20 minutes, right?
No.
But you're inside. And now go ahead and factor in the outside thing.
Well,
I mean, we do a lot of outside events, and I'm telling you how many times we sat in the rain, in the van, waiting for things to happen before we got out and did what we had to do and get back in and get out. Because you have to sometimes. You don't have a choice.
You remember we had Ann Young, she was the owner of Bronson Speedway in Florida, on our show a couple of years back. And I made a comment. I said, most people, intelligent people, think all you do to operate a racetrack is you put the key in the lock, open the gates,
and they come.
The team comes in, the people buy tickets. And then she went and explained what it took to run that racetrack. And and everybody, like I said, everybody thinks that it's a simple thing. It's not. And I was behind the scenes when I was here on Long Island with as the chief official, whatever title they gave me, and I knew what it cost between sanctioning, payouts, everything. The cost for that night was around 20 grand. 20 grand. If they didn't get that in the pit area, they looked at it as a lost night. So you needed, back then it was $25 to get in the pit, so you needed about 900 people in the pit area just to pay your bills for the day, because you can't guarantee the crowd. You can't guarantee the crowd.
You can't guarantee anything.
No.
Because honestly, you can't even guarantee what cars are going to show.
Exactly. So people look out the window, it looks kind of crowded.
I'm not going. I'm going to drive all the way there for this.
I'm going to drive 40 miles for and have them watch some full tires. Nah, I'm not going.
How many times I was in the pouring rain in Copaig and I would call, it's not raining out here.
Not raining here.
But they'd always say that even though it was raining.
Even though it was raining. And the other one, Bob O'Rourke lived in Glen Cove. It's not raining in Glen Cove.
Yeah. And meanwhile, behind the shop, I got a puddle that's 3 foot deep, and I'm driving the shop trike through this 3 foot deep puddle. That's what we did for fun.
Yeah.
We're soaking wet. Yeah, just driving it through the puddle back and forth. And he's like, it's not raining out here.
Yeah. How many times it was called, and you're driving home, and you're in blue sky.
Oh, that sucks.
I used to call that a promoter's rainout. They knew nobody was coming, so they called it. But it costs a lot of money to put on a show and to race a show. And, if a track like Stafford could say, NASCAR, so long.
Well, Joe's saying that, NASCAR's not listening to the fans, that they want more short tracks and road courses. It's a nice idea. But, the question is, do you have tracks that are clamoring, to come on board and make that happen?
But, it's funny, Joe said that. It's a nice little segue into what I want to talk to next. There's 40 days until the Daytona 500. And the 2021 Cup Series will have 7 events on road courses, including they'll be at Daytona's road course. And now that Watkins Glen in New York lost their race because NASCAR decided we're not going to take a chance with your wacko governor, Mr. Cuomo, with changing the rules week by week, we canceled Watkins Glen and we moved that event to Daytona's road course.
Well, because they can, and in Daytona, that's their own venue, so they can take care of that. And that's understandable.
Yeah.
If they had their own venue and all they did was hold races there, that could be the way to go.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, and I don't want to say this, especially here, there's a wooden table here. Because, this thing's not over yet. So we don't know how this is going to pan out.
No.
I mean, you can make all the plans you want, and God's just laughing at you because where do you go from that?
Yeah. And you got to make a plan.
You got to make a plan. You got to put it out there, but you got to have a contingency plan.
Exactly.
And one of the problems, and I can tell you this because, I'm going to bring it up, but we had proposed a track on Long Island years ago, and I'm not talking about the one that everybody knows. But one of the problems we had with NASCAR was the in, the out, and really what you're going to bring to the table. Because ultimately, you can have a short track race. Tony Stewart can have one. It's you're going to get all the heavy hitters. He'll get some of his friends to come. Mm-hmm. But, ultimately, if you're going to get the big teams to come, they want a return on investment as well.
Right.
Whether it's TV time, whether it's the payout. And payout is all based on how many people you have in the stands, right? I mean, because if you don't have that many tickets being sold, then how much payout are you going to get out of them?
Well, see, that was the other thing with NASCAR. You had to publish your payout to NASCAR, and the money had to be in a bank,
Like an escrow.
Yeah, 48 hours prior to the event.
Because they didn't want people getting
There was
stiff.
only one track a few years back that I knew of that didn't have to do that, and that was Riverhead. Because the Cromanies at the time, she was on the board, Barbara Cromany was on the board, so they didn't have to do that. They could back up whatever they needed to back up financially. I don't know if the new ownership has that arrangement, but the money had to be in the bank 48 hours prior to the event. If a third of the cars show up, that money's sitting in NASCAR's bank.
Could you imagine if they had the Cup guys show up at Riverhead Raceway to run?
Can you imagine?
How much would you have to charge a ticket to get people in the stands there?
Oh.
And the facilities. Do they have the room to make it happen?
Yeah.
How many 5/8 of a mile that have the room to make it happen, like a Martinsville or something?
Yeah. Well, I
Unless
know-
it's designed for that.
Yeah.
Most of these aren't. They're designed for, Saturday night guys.
Saturday guys.
Not guys coming in with tractor trailer trucks.
Right.
And then think about all the rest of it. Not only tractor trailer trucks for the teams, right, for their equipment, but what about the souvenirs and everything else you got to put that together too. That's all part of the baggage.
It's all part of the baggage.
You got to give room for that. You
get
can't
it.
have people going across to the Tanga Mall because the souvenir trucks are over there.
Yeah, no,
That's not going to go.
Or across the street at Applebee's.
Right, across the street, that's what I meant. Yeah, across the street in Applebee's. Where you going? I'm getting a T-shirt.
Get a T-shirt.
Meanwhile, the car's like, meh.
And
zipping
in
past
the
you.
town of Riverhead, they can have the guys all lined up on the sidewalks telling them, you can't do that. You got to have a permit.
Right, exactly.
And we're going to take a break and we come back. We're going to talk about Tony Stewart when we come back.
Hey guys, this is Jibs from Ocean's 8 Alaska, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, Inravio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is Inravio.com.
Hi, I'm Remington. I'm Emerson.
And I'm Sebastian.
We're Palais Royale, and you're watching Inravio TV.
There we go.
Hey, this is Chris Les Jake, and if Inravio.com spots you at an event wearing this bracelet, they will give you $100.
Hi, this is Mike Jarecki from My Race News, and you're watching the Inravio TV Network.
Hey, listen, we want you to be safe. So at the Village Music Shop, you can be safe, you can have fun, and you can play some music, okay? They're doing Zoom lessons. So if you got an instrument for the holidays, you can contact them at Village Music on their Facebook page. Link will be up in the chat, okay? You can go to the Village Music Shop Facebook page and just contact them. They can do Zoom lessons wherever you are in the world, okay? Wherever you are, it doesn't matter. They have teachers for all the instruments, okay? So if you got one and you want to learn how to play it the right way, you can contact them. They'll do a Zoom lesson for you, virtually, online, live, face-to-face with the teacher, but online. And if you don't have an instrument, they'll get you an instrument, whatever you need. Contact them.
There you go.
They also just added, by the way, recording studio technology classes and the art of DJing. So if you got somebody in your house that wants to be a wicked and do some DJing, they do that. Or, I know the recording guy that they have that teaches it, credentials up the wazoo.
Excellent.
The guy is awesome. He's awesome. And he taught at the Audio Institute of Research and Technology, which I was on the advisory board for, Audio Institute. And he's awesome. He really is awesome. He's been teaching in colleges for years.
And tell them we sent you.
Absolutely.
All right. So we talked. Tony Stewart came up with his Eldora track. Well,
and hey, wait, let me just say this. That Joe always comes up with some great stuff. I wasn't trying to bash on him.
Yeah.
Just want him to know that. So I wasn't trying to bash on him. He was just taking from what you were saying and going on a rant. I'm on a rant today.
On a rant. Remember the Joe rant when I had my black hat? Remember that? I stopped doing.
Now it's a Chuck rant.
Now it's a Chuck rant. He's going to get a memo like tomorrow.
I'll get the memo.
You need to be a little more positive.
That's right. Stop yelling at people.
Stop yelling at people. Anyway, Tony Stewart, the Superstar Racing Experience, known as the XRX, will run their first event at the Stafford Motor Speedway in Connecticut on June 12th, 2021. The SRX was formed by former NASCAR champion driver Tony Stewart and legendary crew chief Ray Everham. The series has 6 weeks scheduled, including Knoxville Raceway in Iowa, Eldora Speedway in Ohio, Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, Slinger Speedway in Wisconsin, and also Nashville Fairgrounds in Tennessee. The series will have an all-star lineup is planned because the following drivers committed to be a part of the series for the 6-week run. Tony Stewart, of course, from the Cup Series, Tony Kanaan from the Indy, Helio Castroneves from Indy, Bill Elliott, NASCAR Hall of Famer, Bobby Labonte, Paul Tracy from Indy, Mark Webber, and Willie T. Ribbs. He used to run in the Truck Series. Remember Willie T. Ribbs? There's a documentary about him. You could probably find it on Facebook. I mean, not Facebook, on Netflix. So it'll be interesting. And also, they want to have a 12-car field. So they're going to allow local drivers to be added to the event as 12 if they need the 12 drivers.
Yeah, see, now they're not, they're great drivers, don't get me wrong. They're not the guys that are in the Cup Series currently, but they're great drivers. That would be a great show to see. Yeah. Something like that at a local track would be awesome. If you had a little series where they went around, almost like the the old IROC series.
Yes, remember that?
But where they kind of went, and you had guys like that. That's just awesome. Yeah. And I got to say, did you see who's watching us? We got Pornin from India is watching.
Whoa.
Live from India.
Wow.
Did you see that?
See, and when I tell people that I'm the co-host of a worldwide talk show, people say, no, you're not.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right there.
Look there, right there.
We got evidence.
He's on the chat.
There he is. Welcome.
He's from India. So, yeah, welcome. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
See two boneheads talk about NASCAR racing. I wonder if they NASCAR
what is
race
it? It's
in
like 7 o'clock in the morning in India now?
I don't know. What time is it going in India? Tell us right now. So he'll chat back.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I would love to see that.
I think I'm going to try to go off for that.
Yeah?
I think so.
Let me know. I'll go with you. Yeah. That would be kind of cool. I think that would be kind of slick.
He's from India, and he didn't tell us. We need to. It's probably like a delay,
Well, yeah, there's a delay on all of it, so yeah, it's going to take him about 7 seconds to get back. I know the delay. I got it.
You got the delay.
Yeah.
That we put on for one viewer because he was always being negative. Anyway.
He goes. Joe says Stafford 6/12.
Yep.
They're going to be at Stafford.
June 12th. So that'd be good.
Okay.
I believe that's a Friday night.
Really?
Yeah.
I might be able to do that.
Yeah, we might be able to do that, and we might be even get press credentials too,
Okay, we can go up there.
Yeah, so I don't know what the pit fee's going to be. Not that they're not NASCAR.
That's right.
But anyway, it's when you look at these series.
We got somebody. We got Michael from Vegas.
There you go, Mike Rickett. He used to work at the track for me when I was a guy. We had so many Michaels working for us. He was Mike R.
Okay.
He was Mike R. He's a flagman at Las Vegas Speedway, the weekly racing series.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's cool.
He's a good guy, Mike. Him and his wife
out.
Christine. She was the sign-in lady at our local track here. So they moved out to Vegas and they're doing very well.
See, that's good. Now, there's a lot of racing series out there, by the way. I mean, not run by Tony Stewart, but there's a lot of racing series out there that run on bigger tracks to them, but smaller tracks to us, 5/8 sometimes a mile and things like that. So there's other series out there too that are kind of cool to watch. But, you've got some names there, so that's kind of slick. And really, that's the selling feature. I mean, if it wasn't Tony Stewart putting it together and it was, me, you'd be like, yeah, all right, I might show up.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Call me before.
Yeah, call me before, remind me.
Which we did today.
And that didn't work out,
That didn't work out either. Oh, my goodness. Well, and when you see a series like this, and I always said that, and like some tracks, they have these school bus races, and they have the van races, and the local junkyard provides, the cars. I always said each weekly track should have prepared cars, like enduro-type cars, and a couple of featured series guys, like the modifieds, a couple of late model guys, maybe some truck guys at their local track, race against each other in a race. That would be the most interesting thing for me to watch.
Well, I'm going to toss this out there because, it was actually brought up to me, and I'm going to tell you exactly who brought it up to me, was Pete Sindone. Because Pete Sindone was on my crew, great guy.
Yep.
I always had fun with Pete. We always had a blast together. I'm laughing because everything he said was always funny. But, we had, again, going back to the radio stations, we had radio station sponsors. Some did not get it. The racing thing, right? What do you mean you didn't win?
You didn't win.
You call in on Monday morning. Yeah. You didn't win?
You didn't win.
And I'm trying to explain to them, listen, we went out in the heat race. We blew a transmission. We blew a clutch. We had to pull a transmission out, put a new clutch in. We put the thing back in. We went out. We finished 5th. What, you didn't win?
Yeah. They think it's bracket racing.
It's like, you didn't win?
Yeah.
I'm like, we finished 5th and we lost a clutch. I mean, come on, that was a big deal. You know, how much time do you have to do a transmission swap? You know, Riverhead Raceway on your back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we did that, right?
Yeah. And they're not waiting for you.
And it wasn't even we had to pull it out, put the clutch in, and put the thing back.
Yeah.
And they're not going to wait for you.
And then what he hears, you're trying to get that last bolt, and he goes, all right, right now.
Right, charge it in the shoe right now, yeah. So, you know, we were like, yeah, you know. Oh, and he was steaming.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going down to that station. I'm like, don't go down there.
Oh, man.
But at the same token, here's the thought. If you had enduro cars that the track owned, like you set these things up, whatever, you just, you know, it's a bomber car. Bring down some of the you know, the radio guys that everybody knows from this morning show, from that morning show. Maybe you know, maybe a politician or two.
Yeah.
You know, people with names of people. It doesn't have to be Tony Stewart, let's say.
Right.
But come on, wouldn't you go down there to see Steve Ballone get beat up a little bit in a race car?
I would go.
If you could get Mario Cuomo down there to drive in a race car, wouldn't you go see that?
If the track would pardon me, and Steve Ballone or Steve Levy or Mr.
One of those
Cuomo,
Steves or somebody.
I would be a model person at the racetrack
To see that.
and maybe get a car and, you know, do what I had to do.
Put it in a Doro or maybe, you know, not a demo different.
But I would need to be pardoned because right now, you know, I'm life in prison.
Yeah, right. Well, you know.
Well, life out of prison. Now, if you want
Yeah.
to look at it.
But I mean,
you know.
there's people out there. You know, you can nominate people to be, you know, in the race or something, whatever.
Yes.
You know, but it could be interesting, right?
That would be.
You know, just names in the, you know, this one from News 12. Get one of the girls down there. One of the, Carol. Who's the one? Get the. Who's the one that's always pregnant every week? She's always got this like.
Oh yeah,
the cute one.
Stefano.
Di Stefano. Yeah,
Yes.
I couldn't think of the name. Get her down there in a car. Come on, she would do it.
She would do it.
Or Elizabeth Tassagan. She'd be doing it in a heartbeat.
Aaron Cole.
Get it down there.
Yeah.
Get him in the car. How funny would that be?
That would be awesome.
You'd fill the stands.
The police would be packed.
It would be a fun night, but had by all.
And then on Friday, Rich Hoffman would be saying, and there's 100% chance of rain tomorrow.
And you call them mud puppies. Get them out there and run
Get
them
out
anyway.
there. Get the rain tires on. Get the rain tires on. Oh my God. Anyway, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our talk about what it's like to be without NASCAR and what's some of the things that you can do to keep your track going when we come back.
That's a good idea.
Village Music Shop of Mastic. 1-800-HEY-DUDE. Your full-service store with personalized attention, school band instrument rentals and sales, music instruction on all instruments for all styles and age groups, for guitars, drums, amplifiers, PA systems, and accessories. It's Village Music Shop, 1495 Montauk Highway in Mastic. Call 1-800-HEY-DUDE or go to villagemusicshop.com.
Hey, I'm Raul Panther.
And I'm Commander B. Hawkins.
And I'm Merch Weller. We're some of the proto men. If we see you without this bracelet, you get punched in the But if you have this bracelet from Inravio.com, you can win $100.
Put one of these on, or else.
What's up, guys? This is Assuming We Survive, and you're watching Inravio TV Network.
Welcome back.
No, go back.
No,
So
but-
we're having a blast today.
Yeah, especially during commercials.
Nah, we were having a blast before. We're just getting warmed up.
Hey, we were talking about promoting a race like that, and identically prepared cars to the best of your ability, whatever.
I think I'd like to give it a shot.
Yeah, and you get some celebrities.
I might have some extra time on my hands.
Yeah.
You know, if this COVID stuff goes away, you know, and everything goes the way I think it might, I might have, you know, too much time on my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, you might.
So to speak.
You just might. Hey.
Who knows?
You know, and I can remember back in the ISO Speedway days, they did stuff kind of like that, you know, and they had the football demolitions with the little Volkswagen. Everybody, you know, it was really soccer. The first team of cars to get the Volkswagen in the goal got a point, and it was just nice watching guys, you know, wreck and bang and beat, you know, while that was going on, and some of the other things they did, and man, the old ladies division that they had in ISO Speedway, you know, drivers, wives driving. I'm not talking powder puff, where they drove the husband's
I remember
car.
the powder puff from Freeport.
Yeah, they had the powder puff, and the powder puff stopped, if my memory serves correct, because somebody, an official, somebody's wife wrecked a competitor's car who was in points competition with her husband.
Oh, that's not good.
So it kind of stopped after that.
A little feud going on.
You know,
That's not good.
In social media last week, they were talking about the Islanders came to ISO Speedway and they got into figure 8 cars and bomber cars. I guess they were street stocks then, and ran on the oval. I can remember one of the Islanders, and to me, it wasn't important for me to take a picture, remember who it was, but when he got in my car, because I have short legs, his knees were hitting the steering wheel, and we couldn't move the steering wheel, so he ended up in somebody else's car. But you know, Billy Smith was there, Bobby Howard, Nystrom. And
Well, see, the problem with
on
some
a
of those
show.
things is that they can't do that anymore
know.
because they're under contract. They've got responsibilities there, and now, and you know, I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to say it again. Check your insurance policies, because if you got a life insurance policy, it tells you that, you know, if you die in a sporting event, race cars racing is in my policy.
Yeah.
You know, you're SOL. You know, so I'm going
But
to
you're
say
dead, so it doesn't matter.
matters to her.
Oh yeah, minus to the control room. Yeah, I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you'd be better off keeping you alive, like in a basement or something. Like
No,
in
she'd
a
better
basement
off
hotel.
you better off killing me.
Yeah, yeah.
She'd be living
I
large.
got him home. I stuffed a pillow on his face.
Yeah.
I was
I was
distraught.
trying to comfort him. I had some kind of syndrome or something. I whacked him.
Oh yeah.
But you know, that's the problem with a lot of you know, back in the day it was willy-nilly, whatever you want to do.
They weren't making money, so they had to, you know.
But now it's like, no, you can't do that. I mean, look at race car drivers. Some of the things they can't do off the track.
Yeah.
Off track because they're under a contract. They don't want them to get hurt, and now they're out of their race car driver.
Yeah.
You know?
Tony Stewart was supposed to run at New Smyrna. It was like maybe 10 years ago or so during Speed Weeks, and he was supposed to run the car owned by Eddie Whalen, who owned the Ted Christopher cars. And Tony Stewart was told by his boss, you can't open wheel cars.
You can't do that.
No, a full fender car, I got a problem. Open wheel, you can't. It's in your contract. And the track promoted that. Tony Stewart's coming, Tony Stewart's coming. So the place was overflowing, and there was no Tony Stewart. You know?
Well, that's the only concern. But, you know, I think that'd be great. That'd be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Get some of the people down there, you know.
Yeah.
Who can we drag in? What other, you know, names, notable Long Island names can we drag down there?
Oh, man. You know? I'd have to put away. There's so many, and we only have like a minute and a half, and I know if I leave guys, I'll
tell you what, how about this? There's plenty of people out there watching us. Give us some Long Island names or some New York names that you'd like to see in a race at the local track.
At the local track.
Give us some names.
Because I know if I name like 6, I'm going to get bombarded tomorrow. Well, what about this guy? What about?
Give us all the names. Give us all of them. Give us what you got.
Tell us who you want to see in our proposed series.
In our fantasy series, and we'll see if we can put it together. That'd be funny, right?
That would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
Anyway, we're getting signs that we got to wrap up. So
yeah, it's that time.
I want to thank everybody for listening, and again, we wish everybody here from Ultimate Media and the 5x500 Racing Show and Inravio.com. And the Inravio TV network. A very happy and healthy new year. It's got to be better than 2020 was.
Not even talking about it. It's like it's going to go from 2019 to 2021. That's it. What's the what time?
There you go. And,
Let's just forget about it. We got to move on. We can't do anything. I can't look back. You can't change the past.
Jim Allen said Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. You know what? He'd probably do that.
Jim. I met Jim in my former business. Good guy.
Yeah.
He watches the show now.
Yeah.
So thank you.
I think Billy Joel would definitely do that.
Billy Joel. All right, guys and gals, and
That'd be
everybody.
interesting. Get all the singers, right? Joan Jett, Pat Benatar.
Joan Jett goes to the racetrack sometimes.
Yeah, she might do that.
Yeah.
She might do that. She's
There you go.
it's right up her alley.
Yep. I know I'm not going to do it.
Oh, how about the Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers? And I don't mean like Tommy Baldwin. I mean like,
He said.
Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm not talking about Tommy Jr. I'm talking about,
If Tom Baldwin raced in that race,
Everybody would be there.
even Charlie Jazambek would show up then. Anyway, hey, folks.
I mean Junior, come on.
Oh, we had a
But
good
you know,
time today.
that's not a bad idea either. I mean, how many crew chiefs that you got it from Long Island? If you can get them to come back.
Wheels?
Right.
Mike Wheeler?
Right.
Oh, so many. Anyway, Lee Zeldin, Tony Danza. See, now that they're
There
coming.
you go.
Sure, we'll wrap it up. And you
Lee
want to throw
Zeldin
the
would do
names.
it.
Anyway, folks, we're going to wrap up and then
Keep those names coming.
Keep those names coming. Happy New Year to everybody, and
Be safe. Be
be
safe.
safe. And my brother Mikey, his birthday is Thursday. I want to wish him a
Happy birthday, Mike.
So-
How many more days? How many more Saturdays to boating season?
you
You got to tell me, Mike. I got to know right now, Mike. You out there, Mike? Mike.
Oh, man.
I
Anyway,
was just telling Bonnie about that this morning.
anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Good night, and thanks again for joining in. We had a good time.
Good night.
Inravio.com.